Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good whatever time of day it may be for you. I am the Layback Gamer, and today I'm here with, I'm giving you guys my overall view of the expansion. Now, this is in my opinion, so if you are, if you guys don't agree with it, that's completely okay. This is, after all, I am giving the review of it. I'm not getting paid to do it before anybody accuses me of it. Not getting paid at all, completely 100% my opinion. Yeah. So, this video is going to focus on the expansion as a whole. I'm not going to try not to go into too specific in the details today, but that will come in later videos. I'm going to be doing one about the cards, one about the new puzzle mode that was introduced, as well as one about the expansion as a whole, and where do I see the future of this game going. Well, not this game, the future of these cards going. So, without further ado, here's my overall review of this expansion. So, we were introduced to 58 cards in this game, 8 for each class, and 18 neutrals, of course, as it was built inside it was themed inside a Dwemer City, or at least I figured it was a Dwemer City. There were of course Dwemer cards added into this game. That was an obvious, and the few that we did have looked very interesting, and I'm excited to play with them. But this expansion also introduced two new cards, or not two new cards, two new races. One which works really well together, the other which works really well on their own and with neutrals. Which ones am I talking about? Well, obviously, I'm talking about the Factums, as we see with the Assembled Sentry, the Reflective Automaton, and the Assembled Sanitizer. And the other race introduced was the Fabricants. So, like the Fabricants like Firepot Spider, Verminous Fabricant, and Hunter Killers. Those were introduced into the game. Back to the Factums. They are a race of humanoid mechanical constructs made by Sothasil, which is the owner, the previous owner of the Clockwork City. And in this game, I know there's a bunch of them in Elder Scrolls Online. In this game, there are only 3 of these cards, well, technically 4, within being the Sentry, the Reflective Automaton, the Sanitizer, and the Conduit. Technically, the Awakened Imperfects are also a part of the Factum race, but it does not state so. I agree with this choice, as imagine buffing a card that already has 8/8 and guard and just taking it to extremes. I think it was a good choice to leave him out of that faction. But he is technically a part of that race, as well as we got the Assembled Titan, which is the legendary of that race, added to this game. Now, if you're not quite sure what a Factorum is, think of it, well, like I said, as a mechanical humanoid construct. Now, the other race added into this game, I'm going to actually pull up a different one. That's not a great example. There we go. So the Fabricants. In the Agility class, it is the Nyx Hound Fabricant and the Clockwork Scorpion, not Spider. And if you aren't quite sure of what Fabricants are, they're a hybrid race between machinery and creature. If you're still having trouble, think of it as a cyborg, except with potentially less or more machinery over organic matter in it. As we saw in the game, they are controlled by their creator, and a good example of that was in our playthrough. After Laneth died, Mechanar turned her into what I'd like to call Fabricant Laneth, and, well, she was a special type. She was, I think, the first undead Fabricant. So that's a little bit of lore, a little bit of details. As for the adventure as a whole, it was very fun and very exciting to go to. We were introduced to a new mode, which I personally have dubbed Puzzle Mode on this channel, We also had a great story with even I guess some people may have saw it coming from a while away. Personally, I did not. I figured the hooded guy would eventually make a return from the first episode. First episode. And in fact, I was right. Was that the first or second? No, it was definitely the first episode. We lost Swims at Night there. He did come back, thankfully. Some of you guys may have saw that coming. I didn't see it coming until the very final part. I figured maybe Sails Through Storms was going to come back and bite us. Although with Mechanar getting kicked out, I figured something tells me he's going to probably come back. He might be dead. But we were probably going to see more of him. And turns out he's been alive all this time, and he was the one who wanted the ring. And I feel like the story was also pretty well written, as well as executed. Me personally, I felt quite a few of the moments every step of the way. For example, when we were exploring for the city, looking for the memory crystals, I felt I was actually there, searching for it, as if I was doing my first ever time on Skyrim, where I delved into the Dwemer ruins. I was trying to find the way down to where I was going. A lot of twists and turns, a little bit of dead ends, found a little bit of loot here and there, but the main prize was, for me at the time, was an Elder Scroll. In this game, it happens to be the memory crystals, which they're a little bit more. I felt very hyped when I found one, and there was a little bit of danger behind every turn that I could feel going through me, so I felt like they did a really good job at that. For new decks, I'm not very knowledgeable when it comes to new decks, I'll be honest. However, I'm going to make a bit of a prediction on the few that I think are going to come to this game. While I'm not going to go into details of them, I hope the names of these kind of make a little sense. So, some of the new decks I believe are going to be introduced is Factum Dwemer here Monk / Spellsword. And the reason why I say it would be good for Monk is because Mechanical Heart and the Reconstruction engine goes really, really well with the monks. Tend to use what I've seen. Some of the monks that I've seen both on and off camera, they like their supports a lot, and these two supports are pretty good. Not Reconstruction engine. I'll get more into that later. Mechanical Heart, very good if you're facing if you are just about to die. You play this card. Your opponent kills you. You come back alive with 10 health, and you get a rune. So effectively, it's giving you another chance at a prophecy card. And if your opponent can't get rid of your 10 health that turn, you can easily make a comeback with, say, an Odahviing play or Alduin. Even, I would dare to even say, perhaps Dwarven Colossus or an Awakened Perfect. And the last card I could see out of this set would be Abandoned Imperfect. So that's why I think. And Spellsword, they also, having them with the Factums, the ability for Spellsword to bring their cards back from the grave. I do not believe they get any new stats. However, they will be giving more stats to your later cards. So the Reflective Automaton, not that card, but say you had 2 Assemble Sentries and a Sanitizer go to the grave, and then you had, say, Soul Tear or Grave Singer or any card that brings a creature back from the discard pile. While I don't believe they would get the buffs that while they were in the graveyard, I do believe that they will get, I know for a fact, they'll give more buffs. So all of a sudden, you just doubled your Sentry value. You doubled your Sanitizer value. Now cards like the Titan and the Conduit come out, and suddenly they're even stronger than before. Same goes with the Reflective Automaton. You play those Sentries and the Sanitizer, replay them after you bring them back from the grave, and the Reflective Automaton gets their stats I'm not going to go into too much detail about that guy, as in the card video, he is a member. He is going to be talked about, and as an interesting light too. The obvious I see coming in, well, people will try, is a treasure hunter battle mage / warrior, and that's obviously strength is going to be used in the treasure hunt mechanic, as their legendary is based on it, and they got 2 cards already in here with it, with treasure hunt. No, that's the one I want. Intelligence only has the 1, but it's a very easy to trigger it. Getting a couple of actions in hand, pretty easy. As for warrior, they only have the 1, and it relies around guards, so not really in a battle mage's playthrough. Well, actually, it would be a warrior's. Depending on what warrior, might work out, might not so well. But I do believe that treasure hunt. Oh, how could I forget? Oh crap! I didn't mean to look at that. Oh well. But treasure map. I almost forgot about that guy. It will trigger the wielder if it's if it has the mechanic treasure hunt. It will draw the card. And for those of you who aren't aware, treasure hunt is you have to draw all these cards out of your deck, and if you do, you get a bonus. So for example, the Relic Hunter has a very small list. Just draw 1 item, and you give the item +1/+1. This is a one-time effect, very similar to a summon, except this will trigger when you draw the card. Something like Eldora the Daring, whose treasure hunt requires a creature, an action, an item, and a support. That's 4, but she gains +6/+6 for the work for it. I'm not going to go into details on her other effect, but you get the picture. And the last thing I've thought of, and I think it might already be on ladder, so I might be too late to try to create this deck and take claims for it, because I kind of wanted to. It is Disable Sorcerer. And for what you guys, if you guys don't know what that is, it basically involves Memory Wrath, Dark Rebirths, and Hollow Death Priest. In case you guys don't know, the Death Priest will transform the highest cost creature in your opponent's hand into a Shriveled Mummy, which is a 2/2 for 2 mana. And that could be very devastating. As you saw in my fight against the Death Priest, I lost both my Iron Atronach, and I believe I lost my Gravesinger to that. And I was not happy at that. And the Memory Wraith, while some decks it will have absolutely no effect on, such as Battle Mage is a bad example. I should say it'll have no effect against, say, a Monk deck if they're not running Journey to Sovngarde. Monk won't be affected, but a Battle Mage will, because of the Master at Arms, which pulls cards from the discard pile and adds it to his collection. Endurance, obviously, anything with Endurance is going to be suffering a major blow, as suddenly your Soul Tear, your Gravekeeper, your Defiler, there's a couple others that I can't think of right now. Journey to Sovngarde, but that's neutral. Any card that brings something back from the grave, if one of these guys gets played, can't rely on that anymore. And I can for certain bet that some decks will run all 3, while other intelligence decks will only run 2. So that's a little bit of look into the Sorcerer, Disable Sorcerer that I've dubbed. Overall, as a whole, I enjoyed this expansion. As I stated during it, I thought the end was a little bit anticlimactic, and I kind of didn't enjoy that because you had to make a choice on who dies. Spoiler alert: Laneth or Swims at Night. I don't see them coming into another expansion, because that would make, if the devs were to pick one, that would mean that the events of Clockwork City happened in that specific way. And based on games in the past, such as like Skyrim, for well, I shouldn't say Skyrim, but in Oblivion, if you say didn't complete the Mages Guild quest line, it would say in the Wikipedia, it would say the Archmage of the Mages Guild killed the King of Worms. It wouldn't say you killed the King of Worms, it would say the Archmage. Some events do play out as definitive lore, such as in Skyrim, the Dragonborn killed Alduin. Or in Oblivion, the hero of Kvatch helped Martin to close the Oblivion gates for good. Those events are 100% determined, and they're canon to the series, but whether or not you killed whether or not you killed, say, Mercer Frey, or you killed the King of Worms, or you went and defeated the Blackwood Company, or the Silver Hand, that's up to you guys. It's not 100% canon. They just say, as a way to not pick a side, the Harbinger of the companions defeated the Silver Hands, or the Thieves Guild, Brynjolf, Karliath, and another Thieves Guild member killed Mercer Frey and restored Thieves Guild honor, and the thief that was there with them got promoted to master. That sort of stuff. So I don't foresee Elanith or Swims at Night coming back because of that, unless they decide to go into the past, which very much possible. I mean, I believe that the return to Clockwork City happened, I believe, during when the events where Skyrim took place, not before or after, kind of during. Like Act 2 ends, bam, that's when Skyrim is about to begin, because dragons are just coming back, and it would make sense, because now Alduin visits Helgen right afterwards. The events at Helgen go down, you go off, you do a couple quests, figure out you're Dragonborn, and then you just go to college as if it was nothing. The reason why I think it's happening during is because there's a few by the time you're at the 6th act, there's already quite a few dragons that have been risen from the dead. The one that we fight was apparently trained by Paarthurnax, and Paarthurnax I doubt he would have trained any dragons after he decided to help the humans rebel against the dragon overlords. So he had to have been killed off a long time ago, and I believe he's been around for a little longer than maybe a few days. So that's why I think it's happening during the events of Skyrim. Aside from those two minor points, the ending sucking, in my opinion, well, not sucking, just anticlimactic, and Swims at Night or Laneth maybe not showing up again for another PvE expansion. I think it was really good. The expansion was really well done. I love to thank everybody for tuning in to my videos. If you've seen anybody else's, thank you for taking the time to also check everybody else's out. I'm not the only guy out there who did this for YouTube. I'm sure there's a plethora of people, but I do thank you guys for watching how my take over this was. I have watched a couple other people's, and they did really well. And, well, yeah. Now, the one question that might come up is this worth buying? For gold? Absolutely. Buy this with gold. For real money? That kind of depends on you. I'm not going to say do it or don't do it. Personally, I bought it so I can get the alternate Laneth art, which looks really, really good. I also got it as, well, I can make YouTube videos out of it very, very quickly. So, and those are really the only two reasons that I decided to purchase it with money. Aside from that, I'm not sure if the alternate Laneth card comes if you buy all three of them right now. If it doesn't, grind the gold out. It's not terribly hard if you do arena really well. And that's all I really have to say on the matter of the expansion as an overview. So thank you everyone for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button if you really enjoyed. If you think anybody else would enjoy my content, whether it be Ratchet and Clank or whatever else I have up in the future, and even this game, I'm not sure where I'm going to be in the far, far future. Hopefully doing really well. Then tell them to come watch. Tell them to leave a like if they enjoyed. The like buttons really they really help me know what you guys like and what you don't like. I try to, after a few days, I go back and check the videos, see if there's any likes or dislikes. And if there's likes, I just continue to do what I'm doing. If there's dislikes, I will try to change it up. And something important for you guys. I'm doing a Hearthstone and Elder Scrolls Skyrim pack opening. Well, just one video. To celebrate the Hearthstone's new expansion of Cobalt and Catacombs. I'm pretty sure the release date might be out by the time I'm done and by the time this video is out, or it may just be on the brink of coming out. Regardless if that's the case, I'm going to be waiting a couple days until after that expansion kicks off. And you guys in the comments section, whether it be Hearthstone or here, if you guys want me to craft a specific card that you like playing with, let me know. I do have a few soul gems. Right now I have enough for one legendary, although when I open a plethora of packs, I'm sure that's going to change to probably 2, I'm hoping 3. Once again, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and until next time guys, see ya.